Ever felt like you're doing everything right with your money, but something still feels off? Like you're tracking your spending, paying your bills, but your system isn't really working for you? That's exactly why I tested GnuCash and Quicken side by side, and by the end of this video, you'll know which one actually makes managing money easier and which one might be costing you more than you think. Now, before I ever trusted these business accounting softwares with my money, I went digging through the user reviews, especially the bad ones. Because, let's be real, the slick marketing doesn't always match the reality, and that's where things usually get interesting. And with Quicken, one review immediately stood out to me. A user in their 80s said that they loved using Quicken as a simple checkbook, but had to cancel because the cost didn't make sense for them anymore. They didn't have a single issue with the actual software, it was just the price for them. And I think that's fair. If you're looking for, just a basic checkbook ledger and you're on a tight retirement budget, maybe Quicken isn't a must-have for you. But this also seems like one of those very specific use cases because on the flip side, the bulk of Quicken's users seem to love it. One user said he made the switch from Microsoft Money to this after 15 years and was shocked by how smooth the transition was. There's also this Quicken review from someone who's used Quicken for years to keep his bills organized and even catch sketchy automatic charges. And I can personally back that up. I've caught a few mystery subscriptions thanks to Quicken's alerts, things that I shouldn't have been paying for. Now, when I looked into GnuCash, the GnuCash reviews I came across painted a different picture. One GnuCash review that gave me a second thought was from a user who said that GnuCash is powerful, but also confusing, glitchy, and harder to use than commercial software. He talked about random bugs, weird reports, and a frustratingly steep learning curve. To do basic customizations, you have to learn scripting, and if you're not familiar with double entry accounting, good luck. I also came across this GnuCash review from a user who said that the GnuCash database is clunky and the desktop-only model makes collaboration painful. Even finding a bookkeeper familiar with it is tough, especially in the US. So, while GnuCash is open source and free, which sounds great on the surface, there's a cost in complexity, time, and functionality. And if you have a business to run or a household to manage, those aren't trade-offs that you might be willing to make. And that's exactly why I kept circling back to Quicken. Now, let's dig into what really sets Quicken apart from all of the other personal finance softwares. I still remember the first time I set up my account. It felt like opening the door to my entire financial life in one place. You tell Quicken where you bank and invest, and this small business accounting tool connects automatically, pulls in transactions, and boom, you've got a real-time spending report. And from that moment, you're not guessing anymore, you're seeing exactly where your money goes. Now, here's where I really started noticing the difference from other financial softwares. So Quicken automatically categorizes your spending. So swipe your card at Kroger, tags it as groceries without lifting a finger. And if you pay a utility bill, tags it as utilities. And if it ever mislabels something like buying dog food at a grocery store, it just takes 2 seconds to correct it. You're in full control of this. With GnuCash, it's all manual unless you're willing to write scripts. And for most people, that's a hard pass. Then there's the reminders. Quicken doesn't just track your bills, it helps you plan. Set income dates, tell it when your bills hit, and it'll forecast your cash flow for you. It literally projects your account balances weeks out. No more surprises, no more overdrafts. GnuCash, by comparison, can schedule transactions, but it's clunky. It's functional, but not user-friendly. Now let's talk about payments. With Quicken, you've got two options, Quick Pay and Check Pay. Quick Pay handles online bill payments right from the app. You don't need to visit multiple websites or worry about tracking confirmations. Quicken does it all for you. And for bills that require a physical check, that's where Check Pay comes in. A Quicken will literally send a check for you, no printing, no envelopes, no stamps. Then there's budgeting. This is where Quicken shines among other business accounting and finance softwares. Once you've connected your accounts, it automatically builds a budget based on your spending patterns. You can tweak it as needed, but it's pretty smart from the beginning. You instantly see if you're under or over target, and for someone trying to stay financially fit, that visual cue is everything. With GnuCash and most other GnuCash alternatives, budgeting is a lot of work. It works, but it's slow and it's easy to get discouraged. And here's one of my favorite things about Quicken. It basically can travel with you. Whether I'm on my laptop, my phone, or a tablet, Quicken syncs across my devices. I've checked balances on vacation, updated budgets from a coffee shop, and I've gotten instant alerts on strange activity now and again. Quicken also recently rolled out real-time investment quotes, and as someone who tracks my portfolio closely, this is gold too. GnuCash can track investments too, but it's a little clunky and lacks the modern tracking tools that Quicken offers by default. And if you're into crypto, Quicken lets you track cryptocurrency just like any other security. You can even manage stock options and RSUs manually with the other investment setup. That's something I didn't expect when I signed up. To be fair, GnuCash does offer double entry accounting, but it's also its curse for people who aren't accountants. That just makes it harder to use. I don't need to memorize accounting theory. I just need to know if I'm spending too much in one place or another. And that review that we looked at earlier put it best. GnuCash lacks bookkeepers who actually understand it. In the US, good luck finding a freelancer who knows their way around GnuCash. But with Quicken, it's plug and play, and most financial pros already know the software. So while GnuCash checks the free box, it stumbles hard on usability, and for me, that cost in time and stress was just too high. Now, I won't pretend Quicken is a perfect accounting software. One thing I noticed, there's a bit of a learning curve up front, not because it's necessarily hard, but because it does a lot. If you're coming from a super basic app, it can definitely feel a little overwhelming at first, but give it an hour and it clicks. I remember thinking, why didn't I switch sooner to this? And yeah, the price might give some people pause, but here's what I tell everyone. Your finances matter, and you want real control. Quicken pays for itself within weeks, one late fee avoided, one budget goal hit, and you've already won. I've used enough free small business accounting softwares to know that the hidden cost is usually time or frustration. With Quicken, you're paying for reliability, support, and features that actually work. It's reasonably priced, especially considering what you get. GnuCash being open source sounds great on paper, but if you value your time and you don't want to spend days learning accounting principles or debugging reports, Quicken is the smarter choice. Check the link in the description for their current pricing plan and any promo or deal they're running. We try to keep it updated. So, after diving into this Quicken versus GnuCash review, here's my take. GnuCash is free, and that's great, but it can be frustrating to use. Quicken, it's polished, powerful, and packed with features that solve real-world problems. It even has tools that I didn't know I needed until I actually started using them. So, check the link in the description of this video to get started with our special discount and coupon.